Hey, hey! Willkommen bei Sales und Pepper Interviews, dem Sales und New Work Podcast, bei dem ich für dich die extra coolen Leute auf LinkedIn gesucht habe, um mit ihnen über die neuesten Trends und Herausforderungen im Sales und der Arbeitswelt zu diskutieren. Mein Name ist Dominik Klingberg und ich arbeite seit über 10 Jahren im Tech-Sales und habe für dich jede Menge Insights im Gepäck. Aber wir wären nicht Sales und Pepper, wenn wir für euch nicht einen noch richtig scharfen Deal präsentieren würden. Der Podcast wird euch präsentiert von SDRs of Germany, der größten deutschsprachigen Sales-Community im Dachraum. Mit SDRs of Germany hast du nicht nur Zugang zu einem riesigen Netzwerk an Vertriebsexperten, sondern auch die Möglichkeit, von den Besten der Besten zu lernen und deine Karriere im Turbo voranzutreiben. Klingt spannend? Dann sei dabei und werd Teil unserer geilen Community. Und jetzt genießt die nächste Folge von Sales and Pepper. Viel Spaß!
Hello and welcome to another episode of Sales and Pepper Interviews. My name is Dominic and I'm your podcast host. And today I have Alan Ruchtein as a guest, and he's working for Insider. Alan, welcome, and maybe you want to introduce yourself one more time.
Absolutely. Thank you, Dominic, for having me. It's my pleasure. As you were saying, my name is Alan, and I'm working as a sales executive at Insider right now.
Cool. And maybe for those who don't know you, Alan, we met on LinkedIn, right? And we both had a fintech background. So you have been working for Revolut as a sales manager. Now you're working as an AE at Insider. So maybe you can give a little bit of your background. So what you have been working on the last couple of years, and what kind of roles you have worked, and
Absolutely.
what. And maybe also why you started working in sales. I think that's also a great question.
Absolutely. That's a really great point, because whenever you ask that question, it's like, how do you become a salesperson? And no one knows how to answer that. It's like, well, I know, just life, you
Just
know?
happened, yeah.
Exactly, it just happened. In my particular case, in a nutshell, I wanted to be an architect. My father is an architect, and once I had a conversation with him before going into the university, and he told me, I am from Argentina originally, and he told me, here in Argentina you will find complicated to work as an architect. You are good with numbers. Why don't you study something related to business management or business or something like that? And that's where I fall in love with sales. I start selling things, and I knew that he was right, in a nutshell, right? Long story short, but besides the joke, yeah, I'm from Argentina originally. I started my own. I have this entrepreneur DNA somehow, some place in my heart, let's say. Um, I started my software company back in 2014, 2015, for a couple of years, doing a little bit of everything, because when you are an entrepreneur and you're starting, you are doing a little bit of everything. It was mainly a software factory, so we were outsourcing. Let's say, well, the company were outsourcing their software developments, mainly websites, e-commerce, and so on, with us, and then we started develop different verticals like marketing agency, audiovisual productions, a little bit of everything. Really cool experience. But fast forward today, I moved to Spain a couple of years ago, 5 years, almost 5 years ago. I started working at Lambot. It's a chatbot solution, no code chatbot solution, as a SDR slash AE, mainly AE, developing the whole sales cycle and process there. Then I become a sales manager for 2.5 years almost. And then I moved to Revolut, in which I continued as a sales manager. And right now, since a couple of months ago, I joined this amazing company that is called Insider, back on the marketing industry. It's a data company that helps other partners it's basically a cross-channel orchestration platform for customer experience and so on. So that's long story short, if I
Yeah.
have to say.
Thanks for the introduction here. And I think the big question that maybe a lot of listeners also have in mind now is, I think the exciting part is you mentioned you have been working as an SDR, and then you moved up to an AE, and you have been a sales manager. And I think that's what a lot of also young talent is striving for, this sales career, going up the career ladder. What I've found really interesting is you managed to climb up that ladder, but now you decided to go back and work as an individual contributor instead of the leadership role as a sales manager. So maybe you tell us a little bit about, first of all, how did you manage to become a sales manager? And secondly, why did you decided to move back, not moving back, but
Yeah, I
decided
understand.
to move back into the individual contributor role then?
That's a great question, and I guess that it's kind of a taboo topic
Yeah,
whenever we are talking into the SaaS sales aspect, because if you start as an SDR, you would like to be the head of sales or VP of sales in 2 years, and that's
yeah,
impossible, right? So, what we always want when we start is start scaling the ladder, start moving up in terms of the promotions and positions. So, answering your question in different parts, the first part, in order to start scaling up, what I always think, but I learned this the hard way, to be honest, and I think that most of us is doing it that way. And this is always what I try to share, or not teaching, but share or teaching, if you would like to say it that way, with my teams, is that if you are an SDR and you would like to be an AE, start learning the skills and developing what it takes to be an AE in the previous role. Don't be an AE, or don't become an AE when you are an AE, because mainly you will need that time, that ramp up process to understand how it works, and mainly you will feel frustrated at the beginning, or maybe you will fail depending on the times that the company is managing, right? Because there are some times that you need to speed up things, and that's where things are getting a little bit complicated. So first thing, start building skills. Sales is sales, but it's not like 50 years ago, in which is almost art and you have to be a really good pushy salesman and you will be selling. Mainly in SaaS, we are consultative or approach. We have another approach in terms of consultative selling or collaborative selling. So in this case, I always suggest to develop more skills, learn from people that you have around, surround with the best, listen to podcasts, do whatever it takes in order to build yourself up. And that's the way in which you will have more chances to scale the ladder. Second point is, this is something that is not strict or is not the theory, but most of us, when we start, we want to get there, right? Like we want to be the VP or the head of or the manager, etc. So it's understanding what it takes and what you would like to do. This has a lot of different factors because of mainly because of the industry, the companies, and so on. But the important thing to understand is, when you are getting upper on the ladder, you are getting more responsibilities for sure, and that means that you have to put more time into what you are doing, and that means that you need more time management skills, and this is a really huge one. Understanding how you manage your time, how you manage time with others, how you create bond or relationship with others, it's really important when you are getting up on the ladder, and mainly in the sales process itself with your clients or prospects. And super 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 important to understand that when you are getting this sense of, hey, I need to manage my time, I need to understand how to define my schedule and my structure, start being consistent at it, because you can structure today and then you are not doing it that tomorrow, you
yeah,
are going to fail. So doing it consistently, and this is what where the magic happens.
yeah,
Lastly, and just to sum up, why I go back to individual contributor. There's not a specific reason, to be honest. I think I like to think that mainly I fall in love with the projects, the opportunities, the people around the company, and what is that we are going to do together in order to impact the clients, the community, and the industry. And that's what, in this case, I fall in love with, or I fell in love with. The thing is that, mainly to answer the question, I was missing somehow to be on the trenches. Let's say I am a pure sales guy, and I love being manager. I know that somehow or sometime I will be there again, for my own, or for this company or any other place in the future. I'm not sure. But the thing is, I wanted to be talking to clients. I wanted to be talking to prospects. I wanted to do what I was doing a couple of years ago, and I missed it. So it was a combination of both, falling in love with the project and doing what I missed a couple
yeah,
of years.
yeah. And I can definitely relate to that 100%, like all of what you've been said, because I also have been in that same situation at Plio. Then because I started as an AE myself 2 years ago, or moved up to a leadership role, having both like your individual contributor role and the leadership role at the same time. What was also very challenging. And now being a full-time manager myself since last year October, so a couple of months, but still the one thing I'm struggling the most at at this time is time management. What you've described, because now if you look at like in my team is 7 AEs now. If you think about you want to have an one-on-one with each of your AEs, it's already one working day, right? It's like 7 to 8 hours talking time, just one day to have one-on-one with each of your reps. And I think that's something when I also talk to other companies, this range, like how many people are you actually managing, is one very important KPI for a manager, because it's just not, you just have 24 hours, right? So you cannot manage 30 to 40 people in the right way, or in the same way you manage 6 or 7 people. So I think that's maybe one point also I want to point out. If you want to become a leader, look for jobs where you don't have like 20 to 30 people to manage. And also I want to point out the one thing you said about what can I do now to move up the career ladder, because I also felt like many times it's easy to say be the person you want to be, right? If you want to become a leader or you want to become an AE, do the things an AE is doing or do the things a leader is doing. But the problem is people don't know, right? So I think the one thing you can definitely do, and that's what I like about your point as well, is talk to people, right? Ask questions and ask like your actual manager, what kind of actions can I take now to learn the skills I need to be successful in the next role, and not chase a title or a salary or increase or something like this, but try to chase the skills you need. And that's what I really liked about your points.
Absolutely. In fact, chasing that title is just a short-term win, to be honest, because you can get that title 3 months later, you will be back as an SDR or you're moving into another company. I mean, this is not the rule for sure, but this could happen, right? Because mainly when you are changing from any field job, like pure sales, to management. Management is for sure, you need all the hard sales skills, the soft skills in terms of building relationship with the client, but there are a lot of other set of skills that maybe we have no idea we need them, and we don't have them, like how to treat people. If you have people from different countries, ages, and backgrounds, how you treat them, how you empower them, how you give them the resources that they need in order to execute their like an A player. Super tough, super difficult, challenging. It's amazing. It's not that I'm getting the fear out, let's say. I love it. But it's important what you were saying, Dominic. I read somewhere that the sweet spot, in order to being able to manage your time, because you have 24 hours, but you're not working 24 hours. And that's
Most of the
important.
time.
I hope you're not working 24 hours a day, man. But basically, it's important. The sweet spots, I read that between 6 and 7 people, it's where you can either manage what you have to do in terms of due diligence and tasks and Excel sheets and so on, but also put the effort in what they need. Because it's what, as you were saying, 1 hour, one on one, it's 7 hours a week. But then you have team meetings, you have managers meetings, you have whatever the demo you are assistants, exactly, you're going with them. Then you have the non the spontaneous things, right? Like all your team asking you things because they need your help. You have projects going on, you have your manager taking care of you. So if you count all those hours, maybe you are run out of the 40 hours a week. So how do you schedule yourself in order to have more time, free time for yourself, to do better, to execute better, and to help better, right? So this is key.
Yeah. And I think one thing I've learned over the last few months is, first of all, you need to learn how to say no to things, right? Also, just say not saying yes to every question and every project, and also try to delegate a little bit, right? If you have senior people in your team, try to also give them the possibility, exactly what we described, to take ownership and to take responsibility and learn those skills and also give you time back to do the things that have a big impact. And I think especially the if you're not taking your time to sit down and think about what do I need to do to be successful in my role and to help my people also succeed in their role, then you will just you can always be busy if you want to, right? You can all just jump from Zoom call to Zoom call to Zoom call, and then at the end of the day you have a big fat task list, and you couldn't manage to check the boxes, right? So um, that's one thing, and the other part, what you described, also what I didn't thought that it would be a thing, because when I was in AE, my goal also was I knew I like to be a leader. I like to lead the way and to talk to people and to be like a people person. That was my thing, but I didn't thought that I would miss the actual on-site job to talk to people and to sell. And now, after a couple of months already, I still feel like, hey, I would love to actually sell the product again.
Exactly.
And that's something I think many people are not thinking of, that you actually have no more operational tasks, right? You're just there to help other people and
Exactly.
to talk about processes and numbers. So it's a total different job than being a good sales guy or girl,
Absolutely.
right? That's something what also companies are doing wrong, in my opinion, that they promote people that have been the best sellers in the team and then becoming a manager, and then you're missing out on the revenue. But maybe they are very bad in managing people, right? So I think that's also something companies needs to consider when promoting people.
This is a great point. I mean, I've read, I wouldn't say hundreds, but thousands of weeks of books, sorry, regarding this topic, or regarding sales in general, but that covers this topic. That is, we always tend to promote the best seller or the
Yeah.
top seller or the top performer, right? And that's not always the best um, solution, let's say, for covering a position. Why? Because that top performer for you, it's top performing, is giving you a high return on what you are investing on him or her, right? The thing is that you need a manager, for example. All right, train that person to be to become a manager if you want them to be a manager, because with all the other skills that you know they have, great, that will be top performing in the future. But just because you are a great discovery caller and then you are great at closing and a great salesman or sales girl, let's say, you are, that doesn't mean that you are a great manager. And this is a real problem in the industry, that I couldn't agree more with you. It's tough. But again, I know a lot of people, as you were saying, I know 45 years old sales guys, 50 years old sales guys, that they told me, and this is another point of view that we have when we have our 20s. That is like, I want to be an SDR next year. I want to be an AE, and we want to grow and grow and grow. And talking to these people, they told me, hey, I'm married. I have two children, right? I want time with my family. I already know the product. I've been 10 years in the company. I already know how to sell it. I don't want to manage people, no matter if I'm good or not. I'm selling like crazy. I'm getting a lot of money because of the commissions. I'm giving a good life to my family, and that's all that matters, right? And then you have that perspective, and you say, I want to become the VP in 6 months, and this guy is telling me exactly the opposite, but
Yeah.
he's chasing for the happiness and I'm chasing for I don't know what. So it's important to have that perspective, and whenever you are growing, you are understanding all the other points that you don't have at your 20s, for sure.
Yeah, I think one point that you need to consider actually is that also, like, when you start as an SDR, of course, the salary is also not always the best one. So I think most of the time it's always that people are also looking, how can I increase my salaries, right? And I think that's something. At least in my career, it was always when I moved between companies, I made the biggest step, right? If you stay for a company like 10 years, you will not have the same amount of increase in your salary over the couple of years. So sometimes it's good to change the job every 2 or 3 years to make a bigger step, but that doesn't mean you need to do the next role, right? So
Exactly.
I think that's something, if you like what you're doing and you think you're good at what you're doing, maybe it's also just good to move to another company, and then maybe you can also come back but with a way higher salary, if you
Exactly.
like the company before. But still,
Exactly.
like, if you stick to one company, probably you will get like a 2-3% increase in your salary each year, right? So
Exactly.
that's something. Also, what you said, like with people who are maybe more senior, um, you don't have to become a manager to be a leader, in my opinion, right?
Absolutely.
You can
Absolutely.
also lead people and be a role model for others without having the responsibility for the numbers as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, I know companies that what they, I don't know if this is a creation of them or what, but I know companies that they created or developed some kind of middle role, middle management, like in which you are not fully, and this is a ramp up middle step that could be really good also as well. Like you are not fully accountable of all the management responsibilities, but you are helping your manager with all the 5, 6, 10 people that this person have in their team has in their team in the sales operational part. If you are a top performer, right? So instead of just promoting yourself to a manager and start doing what a manager needs to do to get done, is okay. Why don't you help your team? So you show us how you do this. We are training you for that as well. Your team is getting better at how they do it because you are the top performer. And also you are getting prepared to become a manager if you want. If you don't want, you can stay there. You can still help your colleagues and you are getting more salary
Yeah,
and
yeah,
everyone is happy. So
yeah. That's a
super,
good point.
yeah, super interesting.
Yeah, and I think also, like, going back to this salary topic,
Uh-huh.
I think a little bit, like, also I see myself there, but I see it also now because I'm having a lot of hiring calls, like, for new AEs. And I think the one thing, of course, if you're working for sales, a little bit, all of them probably, they're in the sales because of the money, right? So it's always like, they want to have a high salary. And what I've seen over the last couple of years is that companies, especially like startup scene, where the venture capital was like throwing it at startups, there was crazy salary increases. Like, they have been offering roles like the normal AE role for like 200,000 euros OTEs. Uh, and then, like, going back now, I see people in their mid 20s already earning like 150, 160K OTE. And in my opinion, they will never become happy because the next step, there's no next step, right? You cannot, they don't want to move back, but there are not many companies that they are
Yeah,
able to pay that amount of money. So if you're chasing just the money and just the career ladder, in my opinion, in the long term, you will not be happy, right? Because there's very few companies that can actually afford you.
yeah,
And what I really like what you said about the more senior people, that there's so many other things that can make you happy, actually. And if you
yeah.
chase for happiness and for skill development, the rest will come by itself, right? So
Exactly.
especially looking, for example, to one of my AEs, Jan Mundorf, you probably also know him. Um, he has such a strong brand. I'm pretty sure over the next couple of years, companies will pay him a lot of money to work for them, because he built something. But he really likes what he's doing there, right? So, and he doesn't do it for the money. He's just doing it because it's fun for him. And I think
Exactly.
if you are able to find your passion in sales and to find your passion in leading people, or having a strong sales skills in a certain area, um, the money will come by itself.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think that with COVID, we saw what we are seeing it now, this huge bias between the different markets. For I mean, just to begin with, you're in Germany, I am in Spain, and that's a different story. No matter if you are doing the same or not. So just to
Also,
start,
different tax rates.
not only in tax rates but also in the salary itself. So but besides that, that's why we are seeing a lot of people that uh, I mean, the bias between what you were saying. I've seen cases in which the SDR or AE is getting paid more than the manager
Yeah,
itself. So that could be a sense of problem within the team or the management, not for the manager having a problem with the AE, but the manager having a problem with their own decisions, right?
Yeah.
With where I am right now.
Yeah.
And the second point is this bias of within the inflation and all this stuff. Companies from the US hiring in, or companies from the UK hiring in Europe, or I'm not going to say Latin America because that's another story. But whenever that you are paying just a little bit more, but you are taking all the talent, let's say, from the companies that cannot afford it. So you have like a vicious circle here going on. It's tough. I know that, or I guess that this hyper growth, it's not going to stop, but it's okay. Have growth, but give me profitability also.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a mix between both, and it's a yeah, it's a tough decision to make when you are just trying to go up. But if you know that if you go up, you're not going to get as much as you are getting when you are right now. So you are getting frustrated there.
Yeah. Yeah, but and also like if I look back like at myself and my career, I think what I've learned through Pleo is that there's so much more than just the salary in the OTE, right? Because um, Pleo is one of the most successful SaaS companies at the moment in the industry, right? But um, there's so much more than just having a high salary. You have a great company culture. You have a lot of benefits, right? You have like mental health support and all those kind of stuff that makes working in the company very like enjoyable, and also like having this growth phase and
Yeah,
learning all those stuff that's so much more valuable than just having 10-20K more on the pay slip. And especially if you think about all these, like let's say big startups paying like 150 200K OTE, that
yeah,
doesn't mean that you are earning that kind of money, because
absolutely.
always hearing stuff that you like I rather go for 80K OTE and performing at 120 150% uncapped commissions and kickers, instead of trying to chase the 150K
Yeah,
and just performing at 70% and risking a performance improvement plan or being fired because the company yeah just making a lot
it's
of pressure because you're not hitting your targets, right?
That's tricky. That's super tricky. So always see and check really well the background of the company, everything. Also, what you were saying, Dominic, that it's key. Like the OTE, it's OTE, but then when you get into the company and you understand that the objectives are impossible to get, or the tools, you don't have the tools in order to get those objectives, you see so far away those 200K, 150K, that you were saying, okay, maybe with the 60K salary base and or 70K salary base, that it's a really good salary. At least in Spain, is a really good one. Uh, Maybe I can get to 100K OTE, another 30K, no worries. But I have all the other things that will complement my happiness, like as you were saying, all the non-monetary benefits, right? And as you were saying, if you ask nowadays to anyone, well, I wouldn't say that all of the people will say the same, but generally, if you ask, hey, would you prefer gym membership of 100 euros or 300 euros more on your payslip? Give me the gym membership because of the problem of hiring and not hiring. But it's like I'm giving you three times more in your payslip, and then you go and hire the gym. Give me the Spotify premium, give me the membership, give me healthcare, and that's it. It's easier, it's faster. The people will understand that this is a real huge benefit for them. So it's curious.
Yeah. Alan, what was like if you look back also on your time being a manager and now going back to an AE role, what would you recommend people, like first of all, who wants to become a manager? Like what's the one tip you want to give them? And also, yeah, maybe let's start with this one before before I ask another one.
All
Go.
right, all right. That's a good one, and that's a tough one. Um, I don't think that sales is even management in sales. There's no magic science or the one source of truth. Let's say I've seen different methods working fine, and the same method in different people working in one really good and another a disaster. So it depends on a lot of factors because you are working with people. Your people is your asset, right? So it's not like you're doing some kind of things in an Excel sheet. But my biggest recommendation: learn a lot of, if you're working in a multi-diverse company like ours, which you have people from all different places, learn a lot of different cultures and understand how cultures work. So it's more like a neuromarketing or neuroscience in sales. I have a couple of books regarding that they are really really helpful. Develop soft skills as much as you can. Develop how to predict and forecast revenue as much as you can, because this is something that we are always struggling. Okay, how much are you going to close this queue? That's the perfect question that we all ask, or this month. And we are never sure of what we are going to say, because it depends on the client, right? No, the client told me, but they are not sure, but the client told me. So develop soft skills within people, relationships, how to empower, coaching skills, uh, speaking skills, let's say, super important. And also, in the other hand, how to become a real manager in terms of the numbers. Know your numbers, know the company numbers, understand how you can predict the future, understand the data, become data driven, become like a machine, let's say, in somehow, in order to understand how things will go in the future, and not just by, because salespeople is like that, right? Like, this month I'm going to kill it, and we are super emotional, and we are super excited about things, but sometimes we are not going to the data, and we are not understanding how are the pillars, or what are the pillars of doing so, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So that would be the first answer to the question.
Yeah, great one. And I think, like, to in addition to that, what I found quite helpful over like the last couple of months and years is the sales communities. And I've seen you also have been part of the Pavilion network. I'm also active member of the SDRs of Germany network, and I can tell that this is something I would recommend always.
Yeah,
Connect with other people in your industry, talk to them, and maybe look for a mentor, right? And outside of the company, and ask them, because you will always get the input of your company, but sometimes you're just not in the right environment to thrive, right? Sometimes it's not a good environment for you to take the next step. And that's something maybe someone else from a different perspective can help you with, and find new ideas as well.
exactly, 100%. I forgot about that, but it's a key one. As we always say, ABC always be closing, ABP always be prospecting, ABL always be learning. And this is not just reading books or going to a master or a course. It's with the people that you have around yourself, in your company, in another company, LinkedIn communities, Slack communities, ebooks around, friends that you know that they are doing what you would like to do. So this is a huge step in order to become out there a top performer, for sure.
Yeah. And then the second question, and I think that's also kind of the last question already, because we're talking more than half an hour already. Um,
Time
I,
flies.
yeah, time flies a lot, right? What I want, like, the podcast is there to also inspire people and to help them to get better. And what I would love to know about you, Alan, is because you said you've read a lot of books, and a lot of, a lot about the frameworks and all that stuff. What's the one thing that helped you in the career the most in the last couple of years, right? Is it a book? Is it a framework? Is it like a certain methodology you have used? What's the one thing that you would like to recommend people that they should have a look at?
This is a really good question. I'm not sure if there is one just answer, a specific answer for this. If I have to recommend something uh, that I read lately and it was really really good, and I read it twice, in fact, it's a book from Christopher Boss. It's an ex FBI agent. He developed the rescue, how to rescue hostages in hostile situations for the FBI, and it's everything about sales with crisis management, let's say, or in crisis environments. The book is called "Never Split the Difference." So basically, the word said is all. It's like never split the difference, and this is really common in sales. Like, I put the price in 15, you said 7, and we go into the middle in 10, right? So never split the difference. Let them know why you are putting that price, and convince them that they need to pay 15 within the differences of the rescuing hostages and so on, right? So a really huge book that makes me understand that if you are always providing value, if you are always sharing why, in this case in sales, your prospects, your company, your team members, if you're a manager, why they have to do whatever it takes in order to achieve XYZ, and they will get benefit of that. They don't have to do it with a short path or there is not a fast path for success, let's say. So they have to do it that way, in the way that you are promoting yourself. But overall, this is in the last couple of months. Overall, I would say always be curious, and try to be outside your comfort zone. This is something that I learned when I moved away from home. I grew up in the US a couple of years. Then I moved back to Argentina. Then I moved alone in the US with my family. Then I moved alone here to Spain. And those were always roadblocks and bottlenecks of, hey, you have to grow up. You have to be a man right now and do whatever you have to do in order to thrive and become better. So always being curious, try to learn more, get involved in different areas of the company, involved in different projects, understand how the company is thinking in a strategic way, and align everything with your brain, with your mind, with your resources. You will get better. You will get either in the VP position if you want to scale the ladder, or be the best at what you're doing right now if you want to stay there. So yeah.
That's really great tips, and I can totally relate to it. And I think that's also a great end for our podcast episode today, Alan. Thank you for being my guest. It was nice to talk to you. A great topic, and I really was liked what you said today. So thank you for being my guest, and all the best for your role in your new company.
Thank you very much for having me, for inviting me anytime, and keep it up. Thank you, Dominic. Bye-bye.
And for those who are not following Alan already, look him up. It's Alan Ruchtein. So go to LinkedIn and follow him.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
This was another episode of Sales and Pepper Podcast. If you enjoyed the episode, I'm really happy if you follow me on Anchor, Spotify, or Apple Podcasts. And feel free to share the episode with your friends or colleagues. Thank you.